Hey there folks, and welcome to this video. This is the general notice where I start the week by talking about the week ahead, look a bit further back, and talk about stuff that's on my mind. And let's get started off with what the week ahead. We've got the final of ACC just happened, got the final of the rally as well, and final of F1. Got in actual F1, Dutch Grand Prix. And I don't think we've got Greece yet. I think we'll WRC for another week or so, but could well be wrong on that. Yeah, I've got iRacing Daytona 24 to look forward to as well, which will be certainly enjoyable to say the least. Looking back, thanks to everyone for the coverage for things like Extreme E and F1, and there was something else that grabbed a lot of people's attention the past week. Let me have a look. I was misremembering it. The Tamu one, I was surprised the amount of engagement got on it. That was really cool to see. But it's nice to see, like, been having a lull in kinds of content in terms of creation, in terms of how I've put it out there. So it's a matter of just getting back into it. And I'm getting to a point where I'm going to get very, very busy very, very soon. But yeah, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. So yeah, what's on my mind this week? It's the Belgian Grand Prix, or the lack thereof. And I mean, I'm not going to talk so much about Eau Rouge Raidillon. I can actually link something in the description below, which where I covered it. My personal opinion on what they should do: make it a more pronounced corner again, because it's not really a challenge. I know it's going to be potentially more of a corner next year with the ground effect coming back, but also at the same time, if it's wet, the ground effect's not going to work when it's full of water, is it? Or to the same degree, it's going to potentially induce more risks itself. Just make Eau Rouge, if you're going to like bring out the wall and everything, make it a slower corner again, like it used to be. Spa has got a DNA of constantly changing, and Eau Rouge has a DNA of constantly changing. Eau Rouge and Raidillon, and at the same time, they also have a DNA of a longer, slower sweeper corner. It still looks as awesome, it just wouldn't be as fast. I've got to tell you what, if you got any closer to just being a straight line over a crest, it lose the allure that it had of even being a corner. Yeah, my main thing is actually just what was that race, and the thing I'm most annoyed about isn't the 2 laps to have it count, though it's not fun. You could have still done everything the same but not had the car go back out on track. The problem I have is the FIA allowing 2 particular rule breaks but not allowing a third as well. And I struggled with a 10-second penalty at the end of the race to vote him to last because his rear wing was changed during the red flag. Not sure when, but because he changed it to a different spec after the race had started. At the same time, Checo rejoined the race after the race had started. You know? He rejoined the race after the race had started, which is against the rules. FIA allowed that. Why didn't they allow it for Stroll? I think Aston could probably go to the FIA with that precedent of, well, you allowed one team to break the rules, so why not allow us to break the rules as well? Doesn't affect in terms of penalty points, doesn't affect in terms of fines, or in terms of points finishes either for Stroll. So, put itself as moot. I guess you could make the same case for Checo being allowed to take the start of the race, but at the same time, it's like The FIA broke its own rules twice. The second one was by stopping a timer that apparently can't be stopped. The race start timer, which was supposed to be at what the lights out time of 3 p.m. for local time, which meant they were supposed to end at 6 p.m. local time. They paused the time with an hour left. You're not supposed to be able to do that, but they did. And what happened was that they paused it so that they could get an hour of racing, which is not in the rules, and there's nothing in the rules or the rulebook about force majeure in this case either. Like, since the rule got brought in 2012, I believe, it's basically a Canada 2011 rule. They didn't think there'd be a circumstance where you're waiting 3 hours and the rain wouldn't subside. Same time, it's more to do with TV contractors and stuff like that. It's what Vettel said because I guess F1 and the FIA would have to pay out to everybody if there wasn't a race. Probably something in the contract. But the FIA broke its own rules to save its own arse, and that's annoying. Because if the FIA is allowed to break its own rules, and the FIA allows a team to break the rules of the sporting code, who's to stop any other team? If Lewis plows into Max and Tarzan this weekend, goes on to win the race, Mercedes go to the FIA and go, well, Red Bull were allowed to break the rules last week. Different rule, of course, but they were allowed to break the rules. Or say Bottas breaks down on the way to the grid. He's allowed to join the race halfway through because those are the rules, apparently. You can fix the car and be back out of the middle of the race, even if you didn't get to the grid under your own steam, which again is part of the rules. Though that's more a rule for taking a grid rather than starting in a pit lane like everyone else. I think everyone knew how annoyed people were going to be after yesterday, and I'm not necessarily annoyed that it counted, per se. At the end of the day, those are an actual rule that the FIA followed. There was every chance that it wasn't actually going to be classified because they were classifying it at lap 1 and they had to read their own rulebook to make sure that they had done something legal. But yeah, the shortest race in F1 history. The one where the red lights didn't go out for a race start. The ones without a checkered flag. That's that, isn't it? And on that note, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you around. Bye-bye for now.